Okay, got your new album out yesterday. Anyway, stylistically it's quite different from Frank, from the first album. It's much of a less of an obvious kind of like jazz influence in it. Now I read an interview with you saying, and I don't know if it misquoted you, but it said that you've actually kind of gone off jazz. Is that right?
No, I just have stopped listening to it really, because that's the music I grew up to. You know, as you get older, your tastes, well, not necessarily your taste, but your appetite changes. Sometimes you want a bit of something else.
Yeah.
And I wanted to. I was listening to a lot of. I am currently listening to a lot of Shangri-Las, a lot of Ray Charles, the Specials. You know, a lot of ska.
And like so Motown and Stax as well comes through.
Yeah.
A lot of it as well.
Yeah,
okay.
very much so.
So although musically the style is different, the one thing that I thought that the two albums really do have in common is that lyrically they're very, very honest. I mean, they really kind of like lay your life bare, as it were.
Yeah.
Is that really important to you? I mean, do you think that's necessary for good songwriting to do that?
Yeah, I think for me personally, I need to have lived it so I've got a full.
Yeah.
So I know what's what. Yeah.
Sure.
Definitely.
Okay. Now, you work with Mark Ronson
Yeah.
on this album, and he's obviously like the producer at the moment, really.
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, how would you describe your working relationship with him?
Well, it's really cool, you know. Like, Mark's such a cool guy, and he's like me. He's a music geek, yeah. So I'd go in the studio and I'd say, I want something that sounds like this and this and this and this, and he'd be like, cool, okay, cool. Come back at 2 o'clock tomorrow. I'll see you then, and he'd have come up with some really cool beat. But you know, me and he worked together we worked together so closely. I mean, a lot of the other stuff he's done and he's known for, he does everything, and then the artist just comes in and sings, or the artist will write the song over it, you know, whatever. We worked really closely together. It was really nice because when I had the finished album in my hand, I sent him a message just saying thank you so much for making, you know, I wouldn't have been able to do this album without you.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm so proud. He goes, yeah, he said to me, yeah, it's my proudest moment as well, which is really nice.
Wow, that's a hell of a compliment, isn't it?
Yeah, he's just a lovely boy. We just clicked musically and personally and creatively.
Yeah, so can you see yourself working with him again?
Oh, easily,
yeah.
I can't wait to go and work with him again.
Brilliant, okay. Have you got a favourite track on the album?
I love them all. I really love them all.
Cool. Alright, now, there are two things, I'm sure you're sick of this, but everybody is sort of talking about, you know, as regards you at the moment, and that's the drinking, which is in the paper a lot, and also the weight that you've lost in the last couple of years. Now, I read you gave an answer to someone asking about this, where you kind of put the two things together and said that that you've been drinking so much that you forget to eat sometimes.
Yeah.
Was that a joke, or was that?
No, it's true.
It's serious.
Sometimes if you drink, you're just like drinking. Food isn't important. You don't think, oh, I'm hungry. You think, oh, let's have a shot of tequila.
Yeah.
And yeah, they are linked sometimes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, I feel good now. I'm putting some weight. I'm not like, you know.
I was going to say you're not like the photos that I saw actually.
No, I've put on weight. I feel a lot better.
Good. Okay. Now, obviously the first track's called Rehab, and it deals with that, or it deals with people's attempts to push you in that direction, and you sort of saying no to that. I mean, I understand you actually did go once. Is that right? Just to see what it was about.
No, I went just so everyone would shut up and leave me alone.
Yeah.
I literally walked in and walked out. It was like a revolving door. I literally went in, and he said, "Why do you think you're here?" And I said, "I drink a lot, but I'm not an alcoholic. I'm like in love with someone, and it's really messed up." So.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, do you think it's because you know it's almost like the rock star checklist, isn't it? A stint in rehab. Do you think it's like an easy way out, or?
No, I just think it's like, I don't know. You know, there's a lot of people that do have real demons and they can't help themselves. But you know, I can. You know, I believe I can.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't done anything like, you know, I haven't had the serious addictions like a crack addiction or a cocaine addiction.
Sure.
But like things like weed, I kicked, stuff like eating, like not eating properly or being funny about food, beating that, and drink. You know, now I'm at the point where I work so much that I need a drink, and I'm like, oh, at the end of the day, I'm like, oh, I need a drink. But I'm not at that point that I was, where I wake up and all I want to do is get drunk and forget things, you know.
Yeah. So it sounds like it was more of like an unhappiness thing than
That's what he said. He says, I was just depressed. I said, yeah.
Okay, cool. So I mean, I was going to ask you about smoking weed, but you said you've given that up.
Yeah.
Is that right? Okay, because the last track on the album's about that, isn't it?
Yeah, I wrote that about 2 years ago. Yeah.
Okay. Because I was going to ask you if you had to give up one of them, which it would be, but you've obviously given up one of them.
Yeah, because I do love going to the gym. I really love going to the gym. It's such a high.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
Yeah, and it's just, if you smoke weed, it just robs you of your energy.
Yeah, and motivation as well. To
Yeah.
do it. Yeah. Okay. Now, another thing I think that's changed about you in the last couple of years is that you don't seem to be slagging off other artists quite as much. You had a bit of a run of doing that in interviews, but you seem to have stopped doing that. Is that just growing up, or is it?
I think it's growing up. The weed thing made me quite defensive as well, because my album was so different. I wasn't sure how it would be received. That made me defensive.
Yeah.
And there were things that I said that were quite obvious that everyone knows that. Do you know what I mean? I didn't need to say that because it says more about me than it does them. Do you know what I mean?
I do. Yeah.
And I do. I don't wish anyone any bad blood. Maybe I've grown up a bit, but everyone's got to make money. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, so I mean, I'm not trying to get you to take people off that. I wouldn't do that. But what do you make of Pete Doherty, for example? Have you met him?
I have met Pete. I spoke to him the other day. We're going to do a tune together, hopefully.
Oh right.
He's just a lovely boy. Lovely boy.
Do you think he gets a bad press then?
No, I think he's good copy. That's all.
Right.
And he's. I think he's a genius. He's a genius. I'd love to do something with him if we both put it out and just do it.
Yeah, it'd be brilliant. Now, Lily Allen is someone who's come along, obviously, in the meantime between your two albums, and she, I've read a couple of people saying that she's almost picked up your blueprint in a way, in terms of lyrics anyway, not music, but, in terms of being really honest about what it's like to be young and female in London. Do you see that connection? Do you see?
Yeah, I do. She's very, I mean, we've got different styles, but, she is very outspoken. She says what's on her mind. She's a proper London girl.
Do you rate her? Do you think she's good?
Yeah, she's cool. She's a nice girl.
Okay. Now, you were at the Q Awards last night, but
yeah.
Was that good fun?
Oh God, yeah.
Almost too much fun.
It was just afterwards. We just went mad. Me and my mate, we just went loony.
Yeah.
We went to the Afterchat thing. It was alright. We went for like a bit. We looked around. We were just like, oh my God, and we went somewhere else.
Okay. Because I've heard a thing today that you weren't particularly impressed about U2 winning an award. Was that?
That was so blown out of proportion.
Yeah.
And I was drunk, but I was more like, I don't want to talk about it because I was like, but they're a band, They're not like Morpheus, Zeus, Samson. Do you know what I mean? They're not like demigods. They're, do you know what I mean? They're just a bunch of nice fellas, really. And everyone's like standing ovation. I think it's just a bit silly, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose so. Okay. All right. I'll come to the end then. Now, you've described your own voice as like belonging to like a big old black lady before. It's almost like, I mean, your voice does not sound like you look at all.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about where that might come from, or do you just don't think about those
things?
It's
the music I listen to. I mean, everything you listen to rubs off on you, and it affects the way I write, definitely. So I think it's just my influences.
Okay. And my very last question is, would you say that you're happy at the moment?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I would.